On episode 396 of the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, I share the 9 most common diet mistakes. You can find the full show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/396. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness podcast is here for you. I'm your host, Alan Meisner. I'm an NSAM certified personal trainer with a specialization in corrective exercise and fitness nutrition. Let me be your coach as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. Have you lost your edge? And by edge, I mean your ability to do the things, to have the energy, to be as sharp as you used to be. For most of us over the age of 40, the answer is no. And I want to help fix that for you. Please go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/edge. I have a short video there. Really do believe I have some strategies that will help you regain your edge, regain your focus, and get back on top. 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/edge. On today's episode, I'm going to share the 9 most common diet mistakes that I see out there. And number 1 most common diet mistake I see is calling it a diet in the first place. The word diet now in our lexicon of language has become a temporary fix, a temporary thing. So I'm going to go on a diet, lose the weight I want to lose, and then I'll go back to being me again and eating the way I was eating before. That's a recipe for disaster. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, you've got to come up with a plan that's sustainable in the long run. Now, you can have some intensity at the beginning that then tails off into a maintenance, but in a general sense, the way you ate left you the way you were. And if you go back to eating that way, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. So instead of thinking about dieting, think about ways of eating. Try to find something that's sustainable that helps you get to a healthy, happy weight that you can keep doing. And so it's a way of eating versus a diet. And if you have that mindset, it's going to make this a lot easier. The second most common diet mistake that I see is not consulting with a doctor. If you're going to significantly change the way you eat, your body is going to start reacting differently. And this is particularly important if you're on some forms of medication like metformin or insulin. Changing the way you eat significantly can really be devastating to your body, and not being prepared can put you in a dire situation. So talk to your doctor, let them know what you want to do, and then get their guidance on maybe how you're going to change up your medications or other things that they know about your health history that they can bring forward to make sure that what you're doing is appropriate for your health and for yourself. So make sure you consult with your doctor before you start a diet, or a way of eating rather. The number 3 most common diet mistake that I see is not drinking enough water. Many times people will go to these meal replacement shakes and they feel like they're getting enough liquids because they're drinking some of their meals. But the reality is our body needs more water when we're losing weight for various reasons. And one of the core reasons is that when we're gaining weight, when we're putting that fat on, our liver does this really kind of sneaky thing. In this toxic world, it likes to store those toxins in the fat. Makes its job really, really easy. Just store these toxins in the body fat, and we don't have to deal with them. Now that you're starting to lose that body fat, those toxins are getting freed up. And your body needs the water to help wash those toxins down, because the liver and the kidneys now need to do double time. They've got more toxins coming into the system, and they need that water to help process and get those toxins out of you. You may notice when you go on a diet, sometimes you get a headache. That can sometimes just be the release of those toxins. And until you kind of get them flushed out of your system, you might not feel too good. So make sure you're getting plenty of water when you go into a new way of eating, a diet. Okay. The 4th most common diet mistake I see is not having an awareness or having too much of an awareness on your macros. Some people completely obsess about the amount of carbs they're eating, about the amount of protein they're eating, and that obsession is just not healthy. It's good to be aware of how much you're eating so that you know you're getting the appropriate energy, you know that you're getting the appropriate protein, but just getting too deep into it or not paying attention to it at all is a recipe for disaster. It's just basically telling your body, I don't care how much food you want, you're only getting this many calories and that's it. And not getting the protein you need, your body might start leaching your muscles. to lose that weight. And while you see the scale go down, it's not a good movement of the scale. It's not a good look either. So make sure you're getting enough of what you need. But once you're in it, typically we eat the same foods, we eat the same way on a regular basis. So at that point, you're generally going to know what you're getting in your food, and it'll make it a lot easier to track and keep up with if you need to at all. But you do need to be aware that you're giving your body enough of what it needs to meet its basic requirements. So it's not all just calories in, calories out. You need to know that you're getting the other macronutrients that your body needs. The fifth most common diet mistake I see is not having an awareness of the micronutrients. If you choose to eat vegetarian or vegan, there's a high probability that you're not getting enough B12 or any B12. That all comes from animal products. And if you're not eating animal products, you might not be getting the B12. You need to monitor yourself because you may need to supplement. Likewise, if you're doing a low-carb diet like keto, you might not be getting the electrolytes, the magnesium, sodium, and potassium that your body needs, and therefore you're going to face some problems, cramping and other issues, and just not really feeling good. So making sure that you know what's in your food, that you're getting the micronutrients necessary, will allow you to potentially and do the appropriate supplementation for the things that you're not getting. It's not that your way of eating is completely wrong. You just need to make sure you're getting the micronutrients. And then two other micronutrients I wanted to mention while we're on the topic is zinc and iron. There's specific foods that we get those from. So monitoring those and making sure that you know you're getting the appropriate micronutrients in your food, really, really important. Food should be about nutrition. So in talking about micronutrients and macronutrients, we want to make sure we're providing appropriate nutrition, but also meeting our goals with this new way of eating. The sixth most common mistake I see is not preparing or planning for contingencies. If you decided you want to go vegan and you are going to be going over to a family member's house, now you may have told them 100 times that you're a vegan. They might not have prepared something that's appropriate for you to eat, and therefore you're going to go hungry. So be prepared. Know what you're going, know what's going on, and have those quick things. Have the things available. Eat before you go if you need to, but just recognize that your way of eating might not be supported in every situation where you're going to find yourself. So you've got to have a plan B. You've got to know what's going to go on so you can make sure you stay true to your way of eating, your diet. The seventh most common diet mistake I see is people not mentally preparing for the transition. If you're really good about your diet and your eating and your way of eating, and you're doing the right things for your body will start to change. And with that, the way certain people may treat you, the way your clothes fit, all of those different things have an emotional perspective to it. And if you haven't mentally set yourself up for what that's going to be like, it can be a little jarring. And if you're not the person that likes to be the center of attention and you're going to a party and everybody's asking about the 30 or 40 pounds that you lost, just be prepared. You might have to explain, well, this is keto. And they're like, well, that's dangerous. Now you're in a conversation. So just recognize that you need to mentally prepare yourself. You did your research. You know you're getting the nutrition that you need. You're giving your body what it needs. And as a result, it's rewarding you with this weight loss. Just be prepared that afterwards you might not feel the same way, be the same person, and you might get treated differently. So being in a position to know that that's the case will make that transition much, much easier. Diet mistake number 8 that I see the most is not mentally preparing for a plateau. A lot of folks will drop 6 pounds the first week and then 2 or 3 pounds the second week, and then maybe 2 more pounds. And so that's a good solid 10-pound loss. But then it stops. Your body is adjusting to your new way of eating, and you're not losing the weight nearly as fast. That can be very, very disarming. That can be, very, very disappointing. And in many cases, a plateau of more than a couple of days can wreck somebody's diet. They can wreck their way of eating. So the core of this is to know that plateaus are going to happen. It's actually a healthy part of your body, finding that equilibrium, finding that status of break even, and adjusting to it. So you need to be prepared for plateaus, know that they're there, and then at that point, you can put together strategies to try to get past it, but you've got to come from the perspective of having patience and persistence to know that any changes that you do might not give you the same rate of loss that you were seeing before. But as long as you're moving in the right direction, it's a good thing. But plateaus are always going to be a part of it. So just prepare for the plateau. It's going to happen. And if you've got the right mindset going into it, you'll recognize it, you'll be able to make adjustments, and probably get through it a lot faster. The ninth most common diet mistake I see is ignoring food quality. You know, the packaged companies out there, they love when a new way of eating comes about. So, you know, when Atkins got big, now they have Atkins foods. When keto got big, they have keto food. You can go through any grocery store and just about any major way of eating, you're going to find boxes with that food in it. They're either going to be in the freezer section or they're going to be on the shelves, but every single way of eating comes up with a food product. So whether it's Nutrisystem or Weight Watchers or whatever, if there's a way to market that diet, they're going to do it. And in doing so, you are now moving to processed food. It might fit your macros, it might fit your micros, but in a general sense, it's a processed food stuff, and it's not what your body really needs for true nutrition. So don't be fooled into the shakes. Don't be fooled into getting into the processed foods because they're convenient and easy. Nutrisystem will mail you those meals, and you can, put them in your cabinet and they last for years. If it lasts for years, it's not actually real food anymore. There's a lot in there that your body doesn't need, won't process well, and while you might actually lose weight, you're putting more toxins in your body, you're making it more difficult on your body, and you're not necessarily improving your health with these processed foods. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in a bonus mistake is I think too often people try to go into their diets by themselves. They do it in quiet, they do it in private, often for good reason. If you try something and nobody knew you were trying it and you fail, did you really fail? If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, did it really happen? So if you're concerned that you're not going to be successful, that you're not going to tell anybody, well, then there's no accountability. And there's a higher probability that you're probably going to fail because you've set yourself up to fail. So I would strongly encourage you to find an accountability buddy, really someone that will step in and be there to help you. Now, I do online personal training, and I would love to be that buddy for you. If you want some supervision, if you want some accountability, if you want someone that's going to be in your corner through all of this, through the change and dealing with that, through the plateau and dealing with that, talking about the quality of your food and talking about what kind of foods you're eating and your justification for your way of eating and kind of putting it all together with you, I would love to be that person. Just email me, Allan, Allan, at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com. Again, that's Allan, Allan, at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com. And I would love to sit down and have a conversation with you about the ways that we can work together to help you be successful in your weight loss efforts. Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast, I talk about productivity. Until then, have a happy and healthy week.